Podcast.
The Black Multiverse Theory Podcast, where hosts Nigel and Nilo explore current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. In shoutouts, we catch up with the community, creating space for connections. The Scroll, we dive into social media, current events, and celebrity news, always actual, not always factual. On the Screen shares the latest watch list, while In Our Ears explores the sounds shaping our world. The podcast culminates with an uplifting message. We hope to leave you empowered. Thanks for tuning in for insightful analysis and a vibrant perspective in the Black experience in today's world. We join you here in episode 345.
345. All right, we are on, and we are having fun here on the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast.
Yeah.
We want to welcome all the people that are out there. Shout out to Mama Zita. She is saying that Mom is online. Have a great show. And she is on time today, ready to hear what we've got on the docket.
Okie dokie.
Want to send shout outs to Steel Heights Tigers, who played last week to a loss last week, which was interesting. It was an interesting loss because the team they were playing was absolutely not better than them. They just are getting the cobwebs out. So they had forgotten a lot of the stuff that they learned, but repetition. And we got to have more practices and stuff like that. And so many of the practices have been canceled. But I'm proud of them. They're doing a great job. We have another game this week on Friday, and we have another game on Saturday. So it's going to be fun in the sun.
Yeah, January was kind of a doozy, so I can imagine, no, I'm not taking my kid outside. But, glad everybody's back and stretching those legs.
Yeah, it's important to get, physical activity going. It's very important. So
it is, especially in these dark times that we're living in, these dark days, literally and also figuratively.
Yeah. So, we got it. You got any shout outs?
Yeah, my biggest shout out goes to one of my favorite artists right here in the city, Rewo, and the Malafrique band. I was to make it out and I didn't. I've been kicking myself ever since. But if you haven't yet, check out the Grown Child album. It is a swift 45 minutes, which means you can listen to it over and over again. I think my favorite track is Boxes, and my second favorite track is Joy. It's a fantastic album. I'm so sad I didn't get to see them live, but I know I will get to see them live frequently over the next little while, and I will be there and I will show up. So for some reason I knew it was early, and then I checked something and it said 10:30, and I went with that. So I was getting ready, and then at about 10 o'clock I went to check it, and it was like, girl, this event is over already. I was like, what did I do? But also my second shout out is to Lucila. I don't even know if I ever say her name right, but Lucila came through for me and wrote up some write-ups for the shows that she went to. So we'll be seeing those really soon, and we'll be seeing more of that coming up soon. So big shout out to her. Thank you. And Melisizwe Brothers had a thing last weekend. Shout out to all the artists who are doing their thing this Black History Month. I will do my best to be out there. I've already missed 2 events I wanted to attend, but Black History Month started early this year and it caught me a little bit off guard, but I'm gonna be on it.
Black History Month. Speaking of February Black History Month, it is a very, very live ram jam packed month of events and things that are going
That's true.
on. From the moment it starts, it just keeps going. Starting with this weekend.
Yeah, 2 weeks before it starts, really.
There you go. This weekend we have Five Artists One Love All Black Affair at the Art Gallery of Alberta starting at 6 o'clock. So that's going to be amazing. Everybody's going to be dressed to impress in all black. So it's going to be great. When they say all black, it doesn't mean that all black people. It means that you're supposed to dress in all black. So it's going to be good. There will be a lot of black people there. So if you are there, we're there. And we out here, as my friend says.
We
son.
out here. Who says that? Oh, Son Michaud.
Son Michaud. And then
shout out to Son.
February 3rd is the actual Windspear show. And that's gonna be awesome.
The very next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay. NBCC has the gospel opener this weekend, 27th, at the same time as Five Artists One Love All Black Affair, which is really different. It's at Shiloh Baptist Church, and so our good friend Barry Simpson will be out there doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds phenomenal.
I could go through more and more and more and more.
Yeah, there's actually like several overlapping things this weekend. So, shout out to everybody who is doing anything.
Yeah.
I think February 10th. This is just word of mouth for right now. That we'll be putting together a little business get together, but not businessy, but just like, helping your business to bear fruit in 2024 and like getting together and, envisioning the type of clients that we want to bring in and what kind of business that we want to run this year and what are our goals and what things do we have to do daily to keep those things up. So if that's something you're interested in, hit us up or whatever. I'll be doing that with I Go By Jay. Shout out to Essence of an Empress. And then also, this is just like self-plugging. Keep an eye out on the horizon for an aphrodisiac dreadlock festival. So keep your ears and your eyes open. If that's something you feel like you'd like to vend at, definitely hit us up. Let us know. All the corresponding paperwork will be out quite shortly. So,
okay.
Yeah. Shout out to me and shout out to D.
Shout out to y'all. Okay. Well, let's go as we move to the next portion of our show, which we like to call the Scroll.
You didn't hear it? You're waiting for me?
I kind of heard it at the last end. The Scroll. So the Scroll.
Yes.
The Scroll's where we talk about all the things, man. So it's going to be good as we start off this episode Scroll with
the local
the fire captain, 54-year-old fire captain, is fired. The fire captain gets fired. He's the fired captain.
Yes.
For being in possession and being part of a child pornography ring.
Yeah. So, apparently they raided his spot and they took out a bunch of computers and a bunch of cell phones and just a lot of terrible material. So the fire captain has been fired, Captain, and I suppose he'll be replaced.
Oh, yeah. But what are they going to do with him? I hope they put him in the places that he needs to where he needs to go,
Yeah, I don't know what I hear that they're not too friendly with that particular charge on the inside.
On the inside, yeah.
I don't know. That might be from all the episodes of Oz I watched.
Actually, before that, it's been on the market since the Crockett and Tubbs Miami Vice.
Since those days.
Since those days, it was frowned upon.
Okay.
So here we are.
That's what we have to go by, you guys. So.
And while we're talking about Chiefs, they're going to have to pass through different bylaws to make sure that this gets cracked down, and they'll be doing that at City Hall. And at City Hall, we had a shooting just yesterday.
I don't know if yes, somebody did shoot. I was wondering if anybody the recipient of said shooting.
No.
Okay, that's good to know. I did see that the person like put on security clothes so they could get past security, and they released today that they feel like the person not they feel like they released today that the person was working alone, they said. And yeah, so the person came in and shot up the place and threw a Molotov cocktail or so.
The person came in through the underground parking lot, came up through the underground parking lot, came out, and literally had on a Kevlar vest, and then also had what looked like a rifle or
like a
machine gun,
semi-automatic,
a semi-automatic machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the machine gun, they started shooting at all the glass windows and doors that were on the second floor of City Hall. And once they went through, they kind of threw their gun down, took off the clothes they were wearing, and wore security to get out. They're actually wearing the security stuff
to get out,
to try and escape.
What kind of...
But it was another security guard that was like, yo, you don't work with me. An
Gotham
unarmed
City
security guard.
Yeah, wow, took him down.
That took him down. So shout out to those who are in the security field.
Yes, that is a brave field to be in, I will say that.
With no weapon?
However,
except for quarters.
We didn't type this in the multiverse, but did you see that sheriff go in to the IRS office? And let me know if you guys saw this video.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
This black sheriff goes into the IRS office, and the security guard's like, pulls his gun on him and is like, you need to leave, sir. You cannot be armed in this place. And the guy's like, okay. He's like the man in charge, right?
Yep.
He's like, okay, fine. So then he goes and he starts going to leave, and the guy like kind of blocks him and stops him from leaving and calls 911. And the police come and they're like, Bob, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, this guy's like detained him or whatever, and called the police to say a black male had a gun in the IRS office.
Didn't say it was a police officer. Didn't say any of this stuff.
It was a sheriff.
Is that whole sheriff
trooper or something? Yeah, these guys are something else.
Yeah, and he was like not even touching his gun. He's like, yeah, okay, buddy, all right, I'll leave, no problem.
But then he stopped him from leaving. Like, what's up with that?
He tried to arrest him on site, and he's like, yeah, this guy should be fired.
Now, here's my question, which thankfully I won't get in trouble for asking. So recently they've been talking about drive-by shootings. They've been talking about all these crimes that have been orchestrated from India itself. Not even folks that have migrated here, like truly folks that are still in India who are like, want people to know that they can touch them or whatever. So some of these it's like drive-by shootings, lots of fires, arson, lots of extortion. Our guy Gershran was there on the radio on the CTV news the other day, talking about how they're scared and the Indian community, wants to call in and talk about what's going on. And yeah, so do you think Amarjeet Sohi came out and was like, yeah, we're not going to stand for it yet. Do you think that this is connected to that? This is me watching True
the person
Detective.
at City Hall?
Do you think that this, the City Hall debacle?
I'm not sure. They didn't actually say what nationality is the person that was.
Yeah, they didn't say nationality. That's true.
So because they didn't say nationality,
he's not black.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, he's definitely not black. But we don't know if he's a very fair skin complexion person. But it could be like a lot of things that we deem not connected are connected in some way, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
So it could be, but this is very interesting because we wanted to kind of talk about this kind of stuff, and when we were on radio and we didn't get a chance to say anything, we asked the community to actually say their opinion. And, a lot of the community, they don't want to um, really voice their opinion upon something without saying that everybody needs to work together.
Right.
And even when we were on the radio, everybody was saying that we need to work together. We need to work together. Our community needs to work together. And I think that goes for like a lot of communities and a lot of war and a lot of things where people are just disgruntled about whatever they're going through.
Right.
Sometimes it needs two people to work together. That is why when I was younger, I used to wonder why Jesse James was not Jesse Jackson was always out in places. I'm like, why are you negotiating for things? But I realized that sometimes in conflict situations, you need a person that's outside and visibly outside of a situation to actually talk it through, bring two parties together.
That's true. And in many of those situations where Jesse Jackson shows up, he's showing up to do what we call advocating. And when oftentimes there might be somebody in an area and that person over there is in the swamp. So all of the people who are whatever against them or around them. So with somebody like Jesse Jackson coming in, it helps to like elevate them in that way.
Right. So that their voice is heard. Yeah. 100%. Well, also,
we talk about Burger Baron.
You got Burger Baron.
Yeah.
So what's going on with them?
So we all know Burger Baron. We grew up on Burger Baron here in Edmonton. There were Burger Barons all over the place. And even now, even though they're shut down, we can see that the Burger Barons had a really specific shape, the way that they were shaped. And it was a Lebanese family or person that owned Burger Baron. Well, as we can see, many of the Burger Barons have shut down, and there's quite the story behind it. The Burger Baron Mafia, or the Burger Mafia, explores that. It's a movie that has actually come out, been doing its social media rounds. There were some screenings that happened, and now it's available on Paramount Plus.
That's wild.
Yeah, so you can see it. I have to check it out because I'm all about.
There is one Burger Baron that I see that's open, and it's on like 111 or 118 down by
82nd.
No, not that way. On 118th, going towards the West End.
Oh, there's a couple of them around still.
Yeah, or
it's not what it used to be.
It's either 118 or 111 going down towards Princess Auto down there.
And if you haven't, their burgers be banging. Like their burgers are actually quite good. You don't like that?
My dad used to buy the burger. If he was going to Burger Bay, he would stop there and he'd always buy like a mushroom burger.
Right.
And as a kid, I was like,
which they're known for. Right.
I do not want this mushroom burger.
Have you had any of their other burgers since?
Now that I'm older, I don't eat. I've had a burger from there.
You still didn't like it?
It wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
But I realized that a lot of places have that style of burger.
Yeah, it's a style. That's what I would say.
It's a style of burger. What I love over there is the chicken. They have fried chicken and fries over there, which is a go-to snack for myself when I'm feeling really hungry.
Well, anyway, shout out to, I guess, the whole Burger Baron family. It's interesting to own a business, and I could see how, these types of things could happen. But I'm looking forward to watching the documentary because it's a Canadian classic, and I can't wait to come back and tell you guys. I hope it's messy.
All right, so it looks like that might be something on the screen that we might be watching.
Perhaps. The student cap.
We have a student cap going on, and the Canadian government has decided to put a 2-year cap on international students. Now, the greatest thing about Nilo and I, well, not the greatest thing, but one good fact about us is that we have been international students at some point, not here, but over in the States, as we went over the state for school. The fun thing that we found out is that right away we found out that schooling for an international student is 3 to 4 times the amount of a person that lives there. So if you're paying $100 for a course, it is $400 to $500 for that course, or $400 for that course.
Yeah.
But it's never that. It's usually in the thousands of dollars for it. And what happens is when people come over, imagine you have one instructor that you are paying one rate at $34 an hour or whatever the instructor is getting paid. And then when that instructor is teaching, inside that classroom, there's somebody paying what the regular rate, and there's quite a few people paying 4 times that regular rate.
Right.
So you're really monopolizing on, for the school and stuff like that, you're monopolizing on the funds that come in. To put a cap on that is not allowing any new students to come in, but the students that are here, they could stay and finish up what they're doing.
Yeah, so new students are coming in. They're just lowering how many students they're going to be allowing in the next year. They're also raising the amount of money necessary for you to like have in your bank account to be accepted to come into Canada as a student. I think it's going up to $20,000, which is so absurd. And additionally, though, to this note, Canada's students population has been declining. So just know that this is something that has already been happening, and Canada's, I don't think they're actually going to be reducing anything for real. I think they're just saying that. I think it's like to try to like, you know, get people more interested in coming, because right now, folks, there's students living on the literal streets. There's people taking advantage of students, and they have multiple people living in like a room type of a deal.
Yep.
And we generally are in the middle of a housing crisis. I don't know if there are empty houses out there. Maybe there are. If there are, they need to just start putting people in them as soon as possible. But
well, I've been driving down these streets in the inner city, going to different jobs and stuff like that. You will see lots of places that are boarded. The windows are boarded right up in the places. So those could be repurposed if they're going to do that. But it would all depend on the banks, and will the banks let go of the stuff?
Right.
No,
right.
They're not really wanting to let go of the stuff.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, it actually, I can jump ahead a little bit of our list, but there's like a definite farmers market that is going to be.
Oh, I cut that one out.
You cut it out? Well, the farmers market downtown is going to be shut down.
Kaput. Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
it's looking like yes. They've decided not to renew their lease, so they're going to try to find another place to be. But that was like downtown by the courts and the police over there.
I think they had a night market there, wasn't it? Is that the place that had the night market?
Je ne sais. Yeah. So they're in there, and they are having a bit of a time right now trying to get their stuff together.
Okay.
But the reason why Nigel swung around to that is because he was like, move them out and put all the encampments in there.
Yeah, I was like, give the homeless people a place to stay and a place to get water and breakfast
and shower. Maybe wash some of your stuff.
Yeah, that's part of the water.
I like it.
And they're using it anyway, so just do it.
More about post-apocalyptic Edmonton, rising bag fees.
Yes. The bag fees, we already pay 15 cents. A lot of people heard the 15 cents and were like, this is outrageous. 15 cents. I'm one of those people who was like, no, you should have just charged me the 50 cents. Don't tell me about it. And just charge it like you do everything else.
Right. But now it's up to 25 cents, and reusable bags go from $1 to $2.
There you go.
I'm like,
it's a money grab.
It's a money. Bro, I don't
grab bag.
Listen, I want to talk to the people, and I want to just sit down with them and look in their eyes and say to them, when you have all the money, what then? What happens when you have all the money? What happens right after that? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Speaking of heists and
Heist.
grabs,
Oh,
Nigel just found out right before this show that Stanley Cup, Stanley the company,
yes. Stanley the company makes cups,
makes cups.
and it was funny
And they
because
make lots of things, I think, right?
Stanley makes tools. Stanley has a bunch of tape measures that a lot of people use that are
Stanley
yellow and
tape
black.
measures. I do have a couple of those.
They make levels. They make tool boxes. So I know about
Stanley's
Stanley.
out here, right?
So Stanley decided to make these cups.
They've
thermal
been had the
cups.
cups, to be honest with you.
Yes.
But Stanley decided to tell the ladies about the cup and make the cups in pretty colors. And they did what was called influencer marketing. So now a bunch of influencers was like went on whatever with the cups, and now it's like a big thing, and the cups are like upwards of $65. The one that I was like, "Ooh, this is cute," it was certainly $65. And anyway, they also did this marketing thing where somebody's car was set on fire and the Stanley Cup was still good in the car. I still think it was fake because
yeah, I saw that.
God,
too.
there's still ice in it. But I'm like, but how come the outside of the cup wasn't charred at all? How come the straw didn't melt? Because it's plastic still.
It's plastic.
But maybe it's
silicone.
silicone. Okay, so it didn't melt. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so they did this thing on social media, and so Stanley Cups have taken off since then. Target had a special Stanley Cup color. The girls over there at Starbucks, or as they call it, Genocide Juice, they have their little Stanley Cups that people are coming and raiding the shelves out for. So anyway, this lady got pulled over by police, and she had upwards of $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups, which I guess is like, let me do that quick maths in my head. $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups is like 60 Stanley Cups.
She had 38 cups.
38 cups. Okay. And they laid those 38 cups out off the lid of their police car like they were oxtail.
The lady stole 38 cups. It's $2,500, right?
Right.
Or $1,000. $2,500 of Stanley Cups.
Right.
Now, the funny thing about this story is I don't know any Stanley Cup other than the Stanley Cup for the NHL. Like that's
Oh, you never knew Stanley even made cups?
So I didn't know Stanley made cups.
Right.
And I would never have called it a cup. I would have called it a mug.
Okay.
It's a mug. But everybody's calling it Stanley Cups. And now when you Google Stanley Cup, you don't even get the NHL Stanley Cup
all.
come
it's
up.
Not even on the first
page. These Stanley Cups that come up.
Congratulations to them. Let me just give them a quick applause because the marketing genius that you have to go through to erase the Stanley Cup from a Canadian Google search. This is not global. This is specifically Canada. So, touche, Stanley Cup. I don't know what to say to you.
They got to do their thing.
Now, meanwhile, the Stanley Cup, like the family Stanley, the hockey thing is like, ugh.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Stanley Cup.
The funny thing about having a Stanley
Make your
Cup,
move.
The funny thing about having a Stanley Cup, and it being there at $65 a cup, we're looking at $65. What can you buy with $65?
Not a full load of groceries.
You could buy a cup from Walmart that will hold your ice really good for less than $20.
You can, but if your car were to set on fire, would your straw melt? Probably yes. Would your ice melt? Probably yes. So in case of fire, it's just not really practical to just buy a regular Walmart cup.
Let me ask you a question.
Also,
wait. Do you think that when your car starts on fire, you're going to go back for the stuff that's in the car? Like, oh, I need my mug, my Stanley Cup.
If I spend $65 for it, you better believe I'm going to retrieve
immigrant status.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Call it poverty trauma. I'm working on it. Scarcity, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also not, if I was like, oh, in the feeling of abundance, that I would be spending $65 on a black and gold Stanley Cup.
I get it.
Stanley
Cup.
Okay, Jagmeet
Jagmeet
out of the
Singh
ashes.
comes in, still part of the NDP,
I don't know what
and
ashes.
wants to investigate
Loblaws.
loblaws.
Yeah, Loblaws said that they were dropping the price on certain items by 50%, and they were like, never mind, okay, 30. And then they were like, actually forget it. And that and then they were like, next thing they're gonna do is raise it all. So, I don't know what to say. What I was doing right when we were like typing the headlines, I was practicing my lock them up, lock them up. I was practicing my chant. I don't really know what else to do other than throw paint on Loblaw stores.
The other day, I ordered on
I hope nobody does
DoorDash.
that because
I ordered on DoorDash, and I went to the real Canadian superstore
mm-hmm.
owned by Loblaws, by the
Right.
way. And I was like, I need to get an amount of items. And
Right.
sometimes, when you're working on a budget and things are there and you're trying to figure it out, you set out to do this. So I set out to spend a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
And that DoorDash person took over 2 hours to bring the food.
That is intense.
By the time that person brought the food, I was gone. I was at a rehearsal all the way on the other side of town. I was like, bro, you got to bring it to where I am now because you took too long. And then the person was there and kind of trying to figure it out. They're like, can I just leave it by your door? And I was like, fine, just leave it by the door. And the thought about losing the money because it was so much for the small amount of items
just made you sick.
I just my
Did
heart.
You get your stuff?
But in the end, yeah. In the end, I got the stuff. In the end,
that's good. The people
I was there.
taking.
The most important thing on the list of stuff was toilet paper. I need to get my $30,000 worth of toilet paper.
Let me ask you this, and
like,
if you're at home and you care to answer, as it regards your toilet paper, soft or strong? That's a question I have for you in here.
Dila wants to know
soft
if the
or
toilet
strong?
paper, which one do you want? Do you want soft toilet paper or do you want strong toilet paper?
If I'm like, hey, I'm going to the store right now, do you need anything? You're like, yeah, can you pick me up some toilet paper? Do you want me to look for the word soft or strong? Which one are you?
And here's the funny thing. Even when I was going through the real superstore and the list, there were a bunch of softs. Ultra soft, mega soft. There was soft. There was softy soft. And I was like, okay. And then I saw one that said strong. So I ordered the one that said strong and they were out.
The guy you're a strong man.
And the guy said, yeah, because I don't want anything on my hands. I don't want any on my hands after I do my thing.
Are there any comments about it?
Not on that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's to be honest, I don't want. So how it goes now? You tell us what you want. Do you want a strong?
Strong.
Do you want a quicker picker
upper?
Chong,
or soft.
And that's it.
Okay. Let's talk about my most favorite things that happened recently.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, that Dave Chappelle had the nerve to call out Cat Williams, which I'm so excited about.
David Chappelle, the comedian, called out Cat Williams, another comedian, after Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay and called out a bunch of people and did not include Dave Chappelle in his call.
He didn't, actually. He spoke relatively kindly about Dave Chappelle. And when Dave Chappelle commented, he said that why didn't Cat Williams call out any of the white comedians? Why did he only call out black comedians? I'm like, no, Dave Chappelle, you have not been over here to be inciting us against Cat Williams. You can relax yourself over there. But the reason why I said it was my favorite thing is because I want Cat Williams to roast the shishi out of Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle has made a joke with Cat Williams in it. One of the jokes that he had that was online was that somebody had made a fake Dave Chappelle account, and
This is hilarious.
he started following the fake Dave Chappelle account. And on that thing, the guy started to get a little bit, saucy on there, and he went after Cat Williams. And Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle, they were going back and forth. This fake Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams were going back and forth in this chat. And Dave Chappelle was there, and he's like, "I gotta do something about this." So he went to a party, and he sees Cat Williams. He says, "Cat Williams." He goes, and here's the funny thing about David Chappelle and Cat Williams. They call each other by their first and last name. I can't get over this. They constantly call each other by their first and last name.
Right.
So he goes, Cat Williams. He goes, "I don't have an Instagram account or a Twitter account." And Cat Williams was like, "I don't know why you're telling me this, Dave Chappelle. I don't have one either." So it wasn't Cat Williams. It was a fake Cat Williams and a fake Dave Chappelle going back and forth.
Dave Chappelle says that the fake Cat Williams was funnier still.
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But GD says you got to keep your hands classic clean maid service. That's the toilet paper. There you go. Classic clean.
Classic clean. I've never even seen that as an option. Hold on.
Clean maid service. It's like,
okay.
Is this for me? I'm like, is there somebody you have a person that wipes it? Like,
when I was at my niece's house, I installed a bidet, and it was like one of the best weeks of my life. It was not bad, and I don't need it to be warm. That's what I learned. It's okay. A little chip chip. A little freshen up the lady.
Okay. Right.
The last thing we have before we move on to like actually ending our show, the second portion of our show, is the Oscars. Now we've got some Paul Giamatti, who we love, who is nominated for an Oscar. Also,
when do we find out who wins?
I don't know. Whenever the Oscars happen.
Okay.
Also, what is that guy who we love? Jeremy
Lynch.
Wow, no.
Okay.
Who's that?
The Oscars looks like they're going to be done on Sunday, March the 10th, 2024.
Right.
They'll be there.
So, yes, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I know GMA is going to have to be weird about it. But the person, because I wanted to find him, Sterling K. Brown is also Best Supporting Actor nominated. Also, Killers of the Flower Moon has been nominated for a few things. And I want to figure out this guy's name, you guys. I'm so sorry. It's so annoying.
While you're looking that up, GD says that in Japan, the top sumo wrestlers have a personal wiper. So they use hot towels, warm towels, I guess, and they get in there.
I just want to sidebar to all of this and say there was an Indiana Jones last year. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. They brought Indiana back again.
Wow.
Same guy. Same guy. Cast. Yeah. Same buddy.
Okay.
As long as he's living and he has his faculties, again? They're bringing him back.
Good for him. Wow. What was his name again? I can't even remember that guy's name.
Who, Indiana Jones?
Yeah, but who's the other person?
Like the person who plays Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
It's Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, there it is. Jeffrey Wright, that is who I wanted to acknowledge out of my mouth. Actor in Best Actor in a Leading Role, we've got Coleman Domingo, we've got Jeffrey Wright, which is two black people in there. We've got Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, which is just so bizarre that we even made a movie about that and whatever. Paul Giamatti, who's one of the best character actors ever, and of course, that guy's name, Bradley.
He was in a movie with a black lady.
Paul Giamatti?
Yeah. It was like a show or a movie.
What movie was he in with a black lady?
It was fantastic. It looked amazing. People had lots of good reviews. And I was thinking to myself, Paul, maybe you're gonna get it this year because he's one of the actors that doesn't get his flowers. Period.
Mm.
So he's practiced his Oscar speech
Divine?
since
Is it Divine Joy Randolph?
in The Holdovers. Yes.
Yes, yes, she is. Divine Joy Randolph is nominated.
There you go.
So here's the thing, though. Let me tell you another thing that's happening over here. By the way, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is also nominated for Best Feature Film. So they went ahead and gave Barbie a bunch of nominations, including Actress in a Supporting Role and Best Male Actress. But let me tell you, Miss Margot Robbie and Miss Greta, they missed them. Like they weren't even, like the movie wasn't even happening. But our guy Ryan Gosling went ahead and got a Best Actor nomination, which is so bizarre. And if you guys have seen Barbie, which I have not, that's really the whole premise of the movie.
Wow.
Anyhow, let's move it along.
Let's move it right along.
The next thing we are going to talk about is the screen.
The screen. Okay. That was a interesting. Was that a lute I heard?
I thought I pressed glockenspiel. Listen. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So on the screen, what are we watching? What are the things that are on there? Well, let me tell you something about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, wow.
Jujutsu Kaisen is fantastic, but I can't figure out what's going on with Crunchyroll. So those of you who like to watch anime, please let me know what's going on. I can only get up to season 2.
Oh.
Or maybe even season 3. There's supposed to be like 6 or 7 seasons, but I don't know if those are like the episodes. So I'm trying to figure out how to get to the point. Plus, there's other things that have been going on in Japan to market Jujutsu Kaisen. For instance, instead of having a Kit Kat where it says "Give me a break," they've actually got a cover where you break the Kit Kat, and it's the main character who gets snapped in half at the, in the actual anime. So when you snap it, it's actually the character. You can put the character around on it. So very strange. I don't know why they're marketing like that, but it's working.
Japan has some cool marketing things.
They sure do. They sure do. I finished watching my show for the last couple weeks was Reacher, and I watched both seasons of Reacher.
Did you enjoy that?
Reacher was actually pretty good. One of the things that I realized about Reacher's probably on the spectrum for autism, as he's kind of puts himself into an emotional state where he's not feeling emotions. So he feels emotions when you tell him to feel emotions. So there's one scene where his brother's like, "Now you can cry." And then he looks at the camera kind of off, and one silver tear falls out of his eye. Goodness. Because he's so tough. And that's the funny thing about Reacher. He's so different in the show than it is in the movie, because the movie is played by Tom Cruise.
Right.
Tom Cruise is like 5'2".
A little man.
He's a tiny little guy. And so they had to make it like he's
not.
Tough.
He's a regular sized person.
He's
not 6'5".
He's not.
Jack Reacher is supposed to be gigantic.
Jack Reacher is 6'5" in real life, and the actor who plays him is 6'5". He's just huge.
Right.
And he's just picking up people, black people, white people, East Indian, Chinese. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you're from.
He's taller than every black man in the show.
Literally. And there's nobody that I've seen that come to him and given him the, the mollywop. But what happens is the smallest guys beat Jack Reacher up. They like make him bleed. The tiniest guys is who he has the trouble fighting.
It's a swarm situation. It's like the Foot Clan.
No, it's 1-on-1, and it's like the tiny skinny guy is there with a crowbar.
Oh my goodness.
Beating up Jack Reacher. But it's a good show. If you are into action, if you want to see something that is along the lines of an action movie that we used to watch in the aughts and in the 90s, that is one for you. You're going to love it. What are you watching?
I'm watching Suits. So Suits is a very Canadian show that likes to pretend it's in New York.
Wow.
And
okay. See, the New York experts here is over here. It's like
I'm not a New York
it's
expert.
getting you are.
But anyway, Princess Markle's in there.
Nice, Megan.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Which,
anyway.
if what you're saying is correct, it would explain why Meghan Markle and Harry first came to Toronto to live.
Yeah, they wanted to come to Canada.
It explains why.
They went to Oh yeah, they did go for Toronto for 10 seconds, and then they went to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I was watching it thinking like, yeah, if Prince Harry is watching this show, which he said he watched and he loved, I get how he was like, I love her. And I guess in real life, she's like, I'm just gonna be this person in real life, and now she is.
Wow.
And I don't know what she was like before, to be honest with you. But the main character, it's not about Princess Markle.
No.
The main character, Mike Ross, is by far the most infuriating main character that I have ever had the displeasure of watching on any screen at all. He is so horrible. He makes the worst decisions. He's so privileged. And also, so is his boss, Harvey. I will leave it up to you. Let's talk about it. Anytime you want to hit me up and talk about Suits, I'm ready to go. I think I'm just in season 3 now. There's 9 seasons. There's a long way to go. But I just wanted to say, as far as main character goes, man, I'm like, man, this guy's annoying.
You know, I beg to differ. I've seen a lot of characters that I felt were terrible. But you might be right as far as main character is concerned. Mike's pretty bad.
He's 0 to 10 for me. So. I'm like, man, I wish this guy wasn't even on the show. I hate everything about him. I even hate his
suits, his swagger.
No, his storylines. I just can't stand them. Anyway, that's that. Let's move on to In Our Ears.
Okay.
I don't have an In Our Ears noise.
All right. It could be anything. What you got?
Maybe this one?
All right, fair enough. That was weird. That was weird.
It's like
that sounds
okay.
Like a lot of dance hall triggers, but in my ears.
I was about to do the dance hall DJ thing. We're like, well, the big buddy killed him.
So, what in my ears right now is all the 5 artists one love stuff. So I've got quite a bit, but actually I delved away from 5 artists one love just for a second so I can listen to Lufa Vandross.
Okay.
And so
I don't know much. Is that the wrong one?
That is the wrong one, but the one I'm listening to is If Only for One Night. So that one is really good. And I'm thinking of adding it to my personal roster of lists when I decide to do my own concert here at the Aphrodisiac Shop.
Amazing. In my ears is definitely Rewo, Grown Child album, K-Riz and Moraine and Arlo. And I think you're in that show too, aren't you?
Yep.
Have a show coming up. So we'll be out there. That's at the Starlight Room.
Starlady.
Those are my.
I have to stage.
I have to update my Atlanta playlist. Is what I have to do.
You got it.
Yeah. So big shout out to all of them. Everybody just really taking Edmonton to the next level. Listening to Rewo 100,000 times, and also listening to 2024. Soca getting kind of in it and caught up.
Familia.
I found that the soca for me was like, because I was just constantly listening to soca, I would hear the new songs drip drop. So it was like I never heard a soca mix that was like, oh, new soca, I haven't heard any of this, because it's always like overlapping a bit. So I took a little bit of a ear break, and now it's all the dopamine of listening to brand new soca again. So
ear break. I like it.
Ear break.
I like it.
I think that's all we have for today.
That's
We
all we do have to today.
have a word from the one and only. Is it me or you?
It's me. So,
Nigel.
so, I want to thank everybody that came out and that listens to us faithfully. We have a lot coming up in the future, so please stay tuned. Please stay tuned, as we have a lot. Black History Month is all year round, so let's not forget about it. And that is part of my word for the day. Your culture and your heritage makes up who you are. You can't be ashamed of who you are. Today I was talking to a family member, and they were talking about the fact that they were doing an event, and during that event somebody came up to them and said, you can't be as cultural in your culture as you are. You need to cater to the community that's around, the white community that's around. So when you are doing what you are doing, you have to consider them in there. And I like to go through life almost unapologetically me. So I never would tell somebody to do that, or give people that advice. You are who you are, and what makes you is a culmination of your grandparents and great-grandparents leading to the person who is your parent, who then raised you, and you became the person you are through the circumstances you've been through and the culture you've been exposed to. And that allows you to be the great person that you are. So you never give up on who you are, never give up on how you were raised. Yes, some of the stuff that we had to experience when we were raised may be traumatic, it may be triggering, but it still made you a better person as you grew and realized, I don't want to be that, or I do want to be that. You always have a choice on who you want to be and what you want to be and what you want to do. So take into consideration that. Move forward in this 2024 and the years to come with an unapologetic attitude of who you are and where you came from, because you are great, and that's who you are.
All right. What a fantastic word.
That is the word for the day. So we will see you next week. And we'll see you actually this Saturday at the All Black Affair.
Yes.
With Darren Jordan and the rest of the 5A 1L crew, 5 Artists 1 Love crew.
Shout out to the man, Terrence, who I made sure to include that it is, in fact, an all-black affair. He's like, yeah, it's all black, but I could wear whatever I want, right? I said, well, I feel like you've already tested the borders of that, so you can do what you want from this point on.
This is all good. That's what I'm going to say, bruv. Don't do it. Wear black.
We're trying to be part of the tribe, please.
I've got to say it in a way that he'll understand it. Yo, governor.
The other day I was thinking about how annoyed he probably gets at us. You know the joke. You know the joke is old. You're like, yeah, Ricola.
They're always doing this. He's probably sitting there cringing.
He hates it every time. I guarantee it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Black
Multiverse Theory Podcast,
episode 345.
345.
We will catch you again next week for episode 346. I can't believe we've been doing it for this long. Good night, everybody.
Let's keep doing it.